What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so it's been about a week that we have been playing the open beta for Call of Duty Vanguard, and I'll be honest with you guys, I actually had a lot of fun with the beta. Personally speaking, I find that it is a step forward from Cold War. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I am one of those people that didn't really like Cold War, so if you like it, you know, that's your personal opinion. I didn't like it personally, so but yeah, it's all about respecting each other's opinions. Some people liked Modern Warfare and didn't like Cold War. Some people didn't like Modern Warfare but did like Cold War, and some people just hate both, and some people just love them both, you know. So it's just a matter of opinion. You know, this video is gonna be based entirely on opinion, so of course feel free to share your own opinions as I share my own. But anyways, we're gonna talk about what I think about Call of Duty Vanguard, what I think should be improved, what I think is good, and you know, just my overall thoughts on the game. Anyways, we're gonna start with the visuals. You know, right off the bat, it's pretty much like I'd say the first thing that I want to talk about. In terms of like color palette, I find that it is too bland. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks this. You know, we had Modern Warfare 2019, which was a huge step up in terms of graphics and visuals from like the other Call of Duty games. It is a really refreshing game. Cold War was great as well. The graphics were solid, but I'd say maybe the animation is just completely different. It's on a different engine, so that's understandable. But like I said, color palette is too bland, and like sometimes I can't differentiate like the map from the enemy, so it's like kind of hard sometimes. Most of the time I would find myself maybe guessing if my enemy's there, or trying to like see if that was actually my enemy. Sometimes it looks like my enemy, sometimes it might be just a rock, or I don't know. It's kind of hard sometimes. I understand that they're trying to make it like a World War II in a World War II setup, but I find that there should be a way for us to make it a World War II theme, but still make it clear and still make it visually, you know, like appealing. You know, I'm not saying that they should bump up the saturation, but maybe make it so like the map doesn't feel so washed out, so I can differentiate my enemies. Also, another thing, flinch is very unforgiving. Sometimes I understand, you know, if you get shot in real life, like if you get shot even with one bullet, you know, you're gonna flinch, you're gonna have some kind of reaction. But you know, this game is, yes, it is a shooting game. There's supposed to be realism in the game, but I find that, you know, recoil is not so hard to control, but it is definitely harder than Modern Warfare. But the flinch is just too unforgiving. Like I end up getting shot and then I don't know what's happening. Like my screen gets blurry. I kind of like flinch like left and right, upwards, downwards. I don't know what my character is doing. And what ends up happening is that I'm actually looking at nameplates instead of actual enemies. So I look at their names, I see like something on my screen, I end up shooting them, but I didn't actually physically see them just because the color palettes were too bland, and because flinching is just so unforgiving. But that's also going to bring us to another point, which is time to kill. It is very inconsistent. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm missing my shots. But there are times where I feel like I absolutely did not miss a single shot, and I shot first, and then my enemy ends up killing me. I understand if it's an SMG and if it's up close, then fine. That is totally reasonable. But if I have an assault rifle and my enemy does have an SMG or an assault rifle, it wouldn't really matter in this case. And if I shoot first, I would say maybe 75% of the time I expect myself to win the gunfight. Plus, there are times where I'm shooting my enemy and I think that he would be dead because closer means he's supposed to die faster. But then when he's further, like at mid or longer range, he dies faster than when he's close. So it's kind of weird sometimes. Like sometimes I end up shooting my enemy, then I stop because I expect him to be dead already, but he's not dead yet. But then when he has longer ranges, I shoot him 2-3 bullets and he's dead already. So I don't know, I find like, you know, time to kill, maybe damage range, and you know, damage per second. You know, there's a bunch of things that can a bunch of factors that can play into like gunfights, but this is just weird. I don't know if it's just me, but time to kill is very inconsistent. Anyways, for the next point, we're gonna continue with the visuals. Actually, I just wanted to drop TTK because I find that time to kill is very much related to like flinch and, you know, just gunfights in general, like with visuals as well. But another visual point is that graphics could be improved. I'm not gonna complain about it, but I know a lot of people are like saying, you know, the blood looks so fake. The game looks like a PS3 or Xbox 360 game. Looks like a mobile game. I'm not gonna complain about that because personally, you know, I'm not here to play a Red Dead Redemption game or God of War, you know, or like some kind of super cinematic game. I'm just here to play a FPS game. And so, you know, graphics are, yes, important. They could be improved definitely, but performance is really my priority. So if there are no visual bugs, if, how could I say this? If everything is smooth, you know, my frames are not dropping, the game is really well optimized, whether I be shooting or just simply running or just simply AFK, not moving, I want my frames to be like definitely solid, locked. You know, on older gen consoles, of course, such as my console right now, my Xbox One X, it's gonna be a lower frame rate, but I still want it to be locked or at least consistent, because, you know, performance is really like my priority. I've always been a fan of performance over graphics. I could not care less if it's 4K and like, you know, looks like real life. I just want it to run smooth as possible. I don't want any frame rate to go against me. I don't want to, like, you know, feel like, oh, it's not even my connection, it's a hardware thing, or it's a software thing, or it's a, you know, optimization thing. Which brings me to another point, which is packet loss and latency variations. But these things will be fixed, you know, when they release the full game. So that's not my main issue. Again, you know, of course, Wi-Fi and, you know, just connections in general are never perfect. So that's fine with me, as long as it's not too crazy. Like in the beta, of course, that's why it's a beta. It's because it's unstable and it's not the full version. So yeah, we're gonna skip through that. You know, those things are not really major. So anyways, for my next point, we're gonna be talking about audio. Audio is definitely an issue, but not as big as for me, as it is only a beta, and they promise that they will have it fixed by full release. Same thing with, you know, packet loss, latency variations, audio. These things, you know, they will be fixed. I believe it. It's not going to be an issue unless they drop the game, it's the full release, and then audio is still broken. Then, you know, I'll start questioning some things. But I know they're working on it. And yeah. Anyways, it's just a matter of making it louder and not muffled. And, you know, making our teammates' footsteps less louder, but our enemy footsteps louder. Our teammates' gunshots less louder, and our enemies' gunshots to be louder. Anyways, map designs. Map designs are questionable, I will not lie. Sometimes there seems to be a side that is favored. So let's say your team spawns on one side, and then your enemy team will have the better side. I don't know why. I just feel like it. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like there are some maps where they're not, let's say, symmetrical, or they are symmetrical, but one side has, like, let's say, more mounting spots, more head glitches, more, you know, areas to peek, and you can't really contest, or you can't really fight with them unless you go around. But going around is, you either have to go through the middle or through the other side. But the other side is often also watched by the enemy, so kind of hard, you know. There's also a lot of camping spots, like near windows and openings, that you can't really contest. Like I said, same thing for like the head glitches, and for like the camping spots. Okay, you know, camping is fine. I understand. Maybe you just want to like get your camos and stuff like that. Maybe you just want to snipe and hard scope. I don't mind that, but if I can't shoot you, but you can, I find that it's not fair, you know. It's kind of like, let's say you were to have a small window, you can shoot through it, but I can't shoot through it because it's so tiny, you know. It's definitely something they need to revisit, but maps in general, I like them. I find that their design is good most of the time, but there are times where it's really questionable. We're gonna talk about spawns as well. Spawns are, I don't know, I like, in Modern Warfare, I understood the spawns. They were mostly based off where enemies are and where enemies aren't. where your teammates are and when your teammates aren't. So it was really like based off like where people were, you know. So it was like reasonable. Let's say like most of your teammates are there, so that's where you will spawn. You're not gonna spawn in the enemy side and then get killed like the moment you spawn, or be brought in a random area where you're self against the whole team, the whole enemy team. So but in here in Vanguard, it's really random. I've had multiple times where I spawned at the enemy spawn and I was shot, then I respawned and I was at a different, well, in the similar place, maybe like 10 meters away from where I spawned beforehand. Then I died again, and then the next thing you know, I spawned in front of the enemy. Happened to me 3 times in a row, and I was so pissed. Spawns are definitely really weird, really random, but hey, it's a beta. Like I said, they need to improve that. They need to change it, mostly with like the big maps and like the maps where there's a lot of corners. Yeah, it's really crazy sometimes. Movement is clunky. It's not really smooth. I know that they're using the same engine as Modern Warfare. It's really visible, like we know it. It's the same one as Modern Warfare 2019, but I don't know, it's just, there's just something about the movement that feels so weird. Like I can't flick like how I used to in Modern Warfare. Plus peeking feels weird. Sometimes like I'm peeking and I'm like, I don't know, my like I end up looking at the wall and then I peek and it's just like not enough. Then I go and it's I peek too much. Or kind of like a similar example is when I'm throwing my grenades. Like I don't understand why there has to be an object on my right but not on my left. So when I'm throwing my stun, I don't have an issue, but then when I'm throwing my grenade, there's a wall there or there's some kind of object that's blocking it. So it's not related to movement, but it's just related to like the peeking, strafing movement type of thing. So yeah. Plus sprint to fire speed is very low. Like I have to always pre-aim, pre-fire, just because I can't run and then fire or aim right away. So it causes me to like die and lose a gunfight 100% of the time. So yeah, it's just really crazy. But talking about sprint to fire, we also have weapon attachments that are solid, but any downside, speed and sprint to fire speed penalty is just so unforgiving with the attachments sometimes. Like they penalize our aim down sight a lot, or our sprint to fire speed, just with attachments that don't really benefit us, or that just benefit damage range or, you know, other things, but they're just not worth using because of the penalties. But yeah, anyways, that is pretty much like my feedback overall. But I'll be honest, I mean, in my opinion, this is not a lot of feedback. It's just like, you know, minor ones, things that they could fix pretty quickly. And yeah, in time, you know. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the game? Personally, I have fun with it. I like it. Like I said, it's a huge step up from Cold War. Not trying to be disrespectful, but I didn't really like Cold War. So yeah, this one is definitely going to be a better COD. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. Don't forget to hit the bell icon as well. Take care and be safe. Ciao.